the money that's involved with all of these migrants. Shout out to Pierre. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. I appreciate you. There's a lot of money that's tied into housing migrants. And a lot of people keep trying to figure out, well, where is all of the money going? Why are people and hotel owners so gung-ho? The Roosevelt Hotel over in New York City and over in Denver, there's a lot of different hotels and places. But who's making all of the money? Well, I'm going to explain that to you in a minute, but let me first bring you up to speed on what's going on as far as this big caravan that's headed to the United States of America directly through Mexico.
Back here at home to our south, where thousands of migrants have joined a caravan in Central America that's making its way to the U.S. It comes as Secretary of State Antony Blinken prepares to visit Mexico's capital tomorrow. Morgan Chesky reports from the border.
Tonight in southern Mexico, a new migrant caravan is heading north. A group of men, women, and children, whose organizers say is now 8,000 strong, after an estimated 2,000 more joined in a single day. The caravan, last seen in the Mexican state of Chiapas near Guatemala, would be the largest since last year. Many of them desperate and exhausted. This father from Honduras, sharing his 3-year-old daughter, is now too weak to walk. The U.S. border still more than 1,000 miles away.
Now, a lot of people, first of all, will sit there and they'll look at this man and they'll look at this story. And I know that the media's propaganda is going to show him carrying his 2-year-old. They're going to say how tired he is. But one thing that I've noticed that we've learned to do inside of the United States, well, those of us that take responsibility for where we are in life, is that no matter whether you're a man or a woman, we over here at the Millionaire Morning Show, we believe in being equal accountability smoke givers. And so my question then becomes, first and foremost, let me adjust this really quickly, make sure my camera is right. My first question is, why are we responsible for taking care of kids that these people decided to have, that they decided to walk with over here into the United States of America? I don't care what language you speak. If you are an adult that decide to put your Johnson in a woman, right? When did it become our responsibility to take care of your children that you decided to have and then carry over here, even though you know that the circumstances was dire in which that kid was being born into? When did it become the United States of America responsibility to extend grace to you for children that you decided to have? And am I supposed to feel sorry for you because you have children and you're deciding to walk over here to the United States of America illegally? Or are you taking advantage of us because you know that we weak and we soft and we have no backbone and we gonna let anybody do what they want to do when they get over here?
Now too weak to walk. The U.S. border still more than 1,000 miles away. In Eagle Pass, Texas, just days after these stunning scenes of migrant families lining the Rio Grande, tonight U.S. Customs and Border Protection facing a quiet lull that likely won't last long. Outside an Eagle Pass shelter, we met Osmani, Marian, and Edison. ¿Dónde van ahora? Where are you going now?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Los Angeles.
L.A.?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Oklahoma, LA, they already have their they can't speak English, but they already know exactly where they're going. Oklahoma, Dallas, Los Angeles is where these 3 gentlemen are deciding that they're going to travel to when they get over here to the United States of America.
Marianne from Venezuela says she's now waiting until her asylum hearing. After a 5-month journey here, she called dangerous but worth it. Mexico's president now saying he'll meet with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tomorrow in Mexico City to discuss potential joint solutions. Texas Governor Greg Abbott taking his own steps, installing more barbed wire on the border and busing more migrants to primarily Democratic-led cities such as Chicago and New York, both now buckling under rising numbers.
Governor Abbott has made it clear he wants to destabilize cities and sending thousands of migrants and asylum seekers.
Tonight, as that migrant caravan makes its way north, lawmakers in Washington still need to strike a deal over southern border policy, but as of right now, there is no clear agreement.
Thanks for watching.
The Federal government has to strike a deal on protecting our borders. It's 2023. Shout out to y'all for the super chats. I'm going to read those shortly. 2023 going into 2024. And the federal government needs to strike a deal to protect our borders. But let me show you where all of the money is going.
Janelle Finch is in the studio to tell us how one woman's life plan has taken a new course.
When inn-owner young Prince took over the business, she didn't expect to house and feed hundreds of non-paying customers. Now it's hard to picture her life any other way. The Western Motor Inn hasn't had a paying customer in months.
The Western Motor Inn hasn't had a paying customer in months. I want y'all to keep that in mind. As we listen to this story and as we mine it out, I want y'all to understand what's happening because they're going to try to tug on your heartstrings. But at the end of this, and I'm going to preface this because I always like to be honest with y'all, and I like to tell y'all whether or not I'm reacting to something for the first time or I'm actually mining this out. I've watched this already. And so I'm presenting it to you to help you to understand exactly what's happening in the United States of America on a very small scale. And I want y'all to be able to expand y'all understanding and apply it to everything that y'all know. Let's continue.
Instead, owner of nearly 2 decades,
17 years.
young Prince has been keeping rooms filled in another way.
Mama, everybody called me Mama.
Prince bought the inn as a way to spend more time with her son. She had no idea how important time with him would be.
I was lonely almost 2 years after he passed away.
But in loss, she found new purpose.
They are my family.
3 months ago, Prince became mama to her first group of migrants. It started off small.
Say 17 people when I 3 room, then I say, I'm not going to charge you.
17 to an estimated 400.
I don't know when we got this many people here.
Prince doesn't know every face behind each door, but they all play a part in her new family, including Raisa Quiñones.
Mamá se convirtió en eso, en mamá para nosotros, es nuestra protectora. Creo que es un ángel caído del cielo.
She left Venezuela for the United States 5 months ago. Her journey brought her to Texas before moving to Denver in October. That's when she came across a blessing of opportunity.
Bueno, eso fue una casualidad, destino de Dios.
Shout out to God. Hallelujah.
She says she spent nights outside before finding her place here.
Hicimos una familia y no le cerrábamos la puerta. Éramos mucha familia que estábamos en la calle.
In addition to providing rooms, Prince also makes sure her family here is fed.
I cook every day, sometimes 3 meals, sometimes 2 meals.
In between meals, she helps people find work.
I hope they can go on life. I love Jesus, my life, so I'm ready to do this.
There's a language barrier between the Spanish-speaking migrants and the Korean native, but Prince isn't doing this.
Somebody said this is going to bankrupt her motel. Let me say that. Gotta Fed 21 said this is going to bankrupt her hotel. She hadn't had a paying customer in months. Let's continue. I want you to wait to the end.
To hear thanks.
As long as everybody happy, that's money is not mine. Come from him.
The money, hold on, let me play that again. As long as everybody is happy.
Happy, that's money is not mine. Come from him.
Money isn't hers, it comes from God. Hallelujah. Let me get a round of applause for God. All right, let's continue.
Prince says the inn's new buyer has been providing her $50,000 a month to house current migrants.
Why did they wait to the end of the story to share that final detail? The inn's new buyers is giving her $50,000 a month, $600,000 a year. Now, first of all, where do we get this flat number? Where do we get this flat number? The inn's new buyers, now, what Soo Kim Jong-un don't understand is that she's probably getting finessed. If I had to put 2 and 2 together, listen, I'm using my context clues and I'm putting it together. Now, first, if I'm a businessman, why would I just so happen to want to buy a new old rundown motel that I'm not putting no money into? Well, first of all, I can offer her $50,000 a month to run it, which no way in the world she's going to turn that down. A. B. How much are they really getting from the federal government in order to continue to house these migrants? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. How much are the new owners getting and then passing over to her in order to keep her there, mama, in order to make sure that they housing the migrants? Listen, y'all. I know that the stories are a feel-good story, but let me rewind this just to make sure that you guys understand what's going on in these streets.
Lynn's new buyer has been providing her $50,000 a month to house current migrants.
The question that you have to ask yourself is, who are these new buyers? What is the incentive for them to purchase this place? And where is all of this money coming from to where they're giving her $50,000 a month to make sure that she takes care of these new migrants? It just came out of the sky. Hallelujah. It just came out of the sky. Hallelujah. You want to know where the money is coming from? I'll tell you exactly where I think the money is coming from. I believe that the money is coming from you. You are the taxpayers, and then the legislators take the money from the taxpayers. They give it over into the people that has the great business sense. The rich get richer. The people then work for the people that work for the rich in order to make the... Now I get it. Okay. All right. I figured it out. Remember the beginning of the show where I was confused and I said, where are all of these rich people that's just sitting around doing nothing? They dialed in. They dialed in. Listen, there's a lot of people, contrary to popular belief, some of them probably watching this show right now. Legislators know exactly who they are. There's a lot of people that do not want the flow of these migrants to stop. You know why? Because they're willing to sell off every piece of this land and then corrode and corrupt every single thing that the United States stands on in order to make a whole lot more money. Let me tell you something. It's a lot of people that when you see duress, when you see problems, when you see what's happening over there on Kensington Ave over in Philadelphia, when you see this migrant crisis, when you see a whole bunch of them is in hotels and motels and somebody is saying that they getting this and getting that, you got to trace it back down to the money. Somebody is getting rich, making sure that they ensure that this continues to happen. You think that the federal government didn't already know that our borders was wide open and that Border Patrol had no ability to be able to stop these people from flowing into this country. And you don't believe that somebody somewhere, and as you start to follow the money, it's a lot of people that's incentivized to allow for this to happen, even if it's at your own expense, because it's not costing them. They making money. It's your tax dollars. Your tax dollars are the ones that's ensuring that these people, when we say, oh, it come from God, it's coming from you. It's coming from the middle class. The middle class pays the taxes that then pays the legislators to make sure that they spend your money however they want. And as long as they classify it as an emergency or a crisis, they have the full ability to be able to determine what they want to go and do with it. So when you look at these people like the Brandon Johnsons, the Eric Adams that now ain't getting no help, only time he's complaining is because he's starting to be, his poll numbers has dropped. When you look at the Mike Johnsons, because this story is over in Denver, then you ask yourself, oh, Anton, you just being hard on them. No. They're basically not doing the thing that's in the interest of the residents that then voted for them to get in the office, and they're using your money to do so. You are the piggy bank. You will never run out of money because as long as you live in the United States of America, you're going to still have to pay taxes. And it's the first thing that's going to come out. When you get your check next week, and the very first beginning of the year, when you get your check at the end of this week or you get your first check in 2024, I want you to look at it. And when you look at it, you rename FICA and all the rest of them, and you say Brandon Johnson's check, Migrants. I want you to just rename everything that's on that check, because that ain't got nothing to do with they not paying for police. They not paying for anything. They not helping you. They not giving you no relief. And it's not just that. Look at your property. It's not just your paycheck. Look at your property taxes. When you look at your property taxes and you see it say federal on your check, and then it say property taxes, and it's supposed to have the millages and stuff, you look at that and you just understand that ain't your money. That's their money. That's daddy money. That's daddy money. And that's the thing that confuses me about y'all, is because how can you sit there and say, well, I'm not voting, but you paying taxes? You're paying for the police. I don't really care about the police. You paying for them. You they boss. How you not going to participate in the process of people that you employing? These are your employees. That's why you have a vote. It's because you're paying for them. You pay for the roads. You pay for the migrants. You pay for schools. All you homeowners, the people that say, oh, it's always better to own a home, but you don't participate in the process to determine how much money is going to be given over to the local community college, or you not participating to understand where your tax dollars is going, you don't know what the treasurer doing with your money, they can just automatically say it's a crisis, it's an emergency, and then they take your money and they do what they want to do with it. They work for you. When you call the police, you're not calling the police as a person that is under duress. You calling the police to come and help you because you paying for their salary. You're paying for them to protect you. So why wouldn't you do the thing that's in your own best interest and making sure that you help the police keep the criminal element out of your environment? Why are you not participating in holding these legislators accountable that's in your municipality? Why are you not participating in the voting process? So you're going to sit there and tell me that you're going to involuntarily give your money over to them to be able to manage. That's the reason why these people over in Chicago, that's the reason why these people over in Dalton is supposed to be mad at Tiffany Henyard and Brandon Johnson and Mike Johnston and all of these local politicians and these national politicians, is because you paying for them. And they using your money as a Ponzi scheme because they can't even balance the deficit that they dealing with. And then they rob Peter to pay Paul, and we the ones that's paying for the Social Security recipients. So when you see your homeboy and they finesse the system and they go ahead and they do Social Security fraud, or they over there acting like they disabled and they getting the check, you paying for that. You're paying for it. So I would love for you guys to rethink how you looking at politics, money, and everything in between, because you are the one that is going to suffer. And when you look at your paycheck and you can't understand, God damn it, I made $100,000 a year, but I'm only taking home $68,000. That's why. And they still trying to raise taxes on you. And even after you pay taxes out of your paycheck, you got to pay more taxes when you go to the store. And then you got to pay more taxes out of the money that's already taxed in order to continue to live in a home that you're never actually going to own. Because if you don't pay even more property taxes on top of it, then they have the ability to take your home after 3 years and resell it out to the general public to somebody else that's going to make more money as a result of it. And that's the Ponzi scheme that we now all live in, and why people that have money, that understand money, say that it's fraud, it's a crime, and how we operate within our tax system is so stupid and it's egregious. Because you're getting taxed on money that you have to spend money on to get taxed again on. And so it all comes back to the federal government so they can distribute it back to you and act like they're doing you a favor. It's your money. It all goes to them and it's your money. Good God. Let me stop, because I'm going too deep, and then y'all gonna be saying, Anton, he don't know what he talking about. No, I know way more. It's just that I understand that you got to take baby food. I can't give you steak yet because you're not prepared for all of this game that we got for you. And make sure you join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.